We are talking about The Unborn. This one is directed by Tal Lazar and stars Manni Perez and Clifton Samuels. Now, there's actually been a lot of movies called The Unborn. This one is a 2021 and is essentially a kind of haunted house movie, for lack of a better word. The plot here is we have these two security guards who are in some type of industrial building that is due to be demolished the next day. And they are essentially there just to make sure there's no stragglers, no, vagrants in there or what have you, before it gets demolished. And they're there in the kind of the night shift. And the girl has just discovered that she is pregnant with her kind of boyfriend, who, is a little bit of alluded to that he may be some sort of a, player type. But anyway. And these two security guards, when they are there, they seem to be menaced by some type of paranormal force that seems to be emanating from this particular room, where there may well have been some type of experiments done on children. What will happen? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. So what do we think, first of all, of The Unborn? This started pretty well, I have to say. I thought when the movie first started, I'm quite a sucker for a kind of a haunted house movie, especially where we have like a large building, like a hospital, or in this case, some type of like a factory or industrial complex. It's never really exactly said what it is that they're guarding, but nonetheless, it's a large building, which gives you all this kind of like labyrinth of kind of tunnels and floors and things like that, which makes it that much, more places to go rather than just your, domestic house, for example. And it's all very dark, and I think the industrial setting of a night kind of looks quite creepy. And when we have our security guards going around and they're discovering this kind of this room that has been sealed off, and kind of what's in there, pretty good. There are some some spooky moments. We kind of see things kind of moving around in the dark, and it almost has an element. If you've ever seen the movie Splinter. Again, without kind of giving away any spoilers there is an element of that in this movie, kind of like a body horror style element, which I think, on a practical effects wise, is done well. I actually quite liked our lead actress here, who is a pretty kind of like, no-nonsense security guard, and looks like she takes her job very seriously. And I always appreciate when you have someone who's doing a job in a film, they take it kind of seriously. They're a professional in that field, and I kind of like the fact that she seems to be taking this kind of job pretty seriously. But obviously we see the cracks start to happen as the kind of like the fear starts to kind of go through. And there are a couple of spooky moments throughout the movie. However, what doesn't work, so as the movie progresses past the kind of, I would say, the initial act, I feel it starts to kind of fall apart here in really a kind of quite a poor narrative sense, to be honest. There is, what is revealed, I don't think makes a hell of a lot of sense, to be honest with you. Again, I'm going to try and avoid spoilers here, but it just seems to... There's been an idea to have some scary imagery and then write a story around it, which is what I think looks like it may have happened here. Because it doesn't make a lot of narrative sense. And then the actions within our cast members within this movie, they just don't really, again, they don't really seem to make a lot of logical sense about what they are doing. The girl seems to stay in the office while the guy seems to go out and kind of do all the kind of the legwork a lot of the time. I get she's pregnant, but the guy doesn't even know that at the beginning of the movie. And unfortunately, it really just kind of loses some of its kind of scares, where it maybe reveals a little bit kind of too much, and it becomes very derivative of other things, this movie. So it's certainly not a bad film, I don't think, but it's not its promise isn't kind of maintained. It starts off pretty well, but I feel it really just kind of loses focus as the movie kind of progresses. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a mess, unfortunately. I felt there was a good idea here, but I feel maybe the execution of it is not particularly good. It's a bit of a waste of this this particular set and location shooting, which I think blends itself quite well to a kind of ghost story. And it just loses its creepy factor, you know, a third of the way through the movie. It just is no longer creepy. There's some decent special effects here and there within that, but it's just a little bit disappointing, to be honest. 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.